All right, so Water and Sanitation Minister Pemmy Majodina and her counterpart from the Kingdom of Lesotho, Minister Mohlomi Moleko, have expressed optimism on the state of readiness for the two countries to carry out the 6-month maintenance closure of the Lesotho Highlands Water Project tunnel. The Lesotho Highlands water system has been closed for maintenance. This is what has transpired this morning. Our SABC News reporter Rapelang Radebe joins us now to give us more. Rapelang, a very good morning to you. This is something that's been spoken about for quite some time, but I suppose now it's closed, and they've said everything's going to be smooth, but I suppose there are great concerns. This could disrupt water supply to Gauteng.
Indeed, good morning, Leon. Indeed, last night at midnight, the official closure took place, and it means now for the next 6 months, it will be that intensive maintenance. I did ask as to what would be the extreme end of things, what could likely go wrong if the plan doesn't fall within 6 months, but I was guaranteed that this is an exercise that has been rehearsed over and over again, and all systems in place that at least for 6 months the planned water shutdown will go according to plan. Yes, you're absolutely right. There has to be extreme caution as to those who will be affected, especially those who depend on the natural flow of the river, especially on the South African side, and people are urged to engage in extreme measures to care and spare water, use water sparingly.
Yeah, I mean, Rapelang, we've been promised many things before when it's come to water supply, and there's always been these promises that there'll be no disruption, everything will carry on as always. But perhaps you can just give us an understanding as to how important this tunnel is for us, and the fact that it's now been shut down, that if there are any problems, how this would severely, I suppose how severe the repercussions would be.
Indeed. I think one of the guarantees that I got was that the best thing that can be done is to carry out this inspection. There is 5-year maintenance and inspection that takes place, but it was only in 2019 that the results show that there has to be a more intensive maintenance that has to take place, which is the one that we are facing. And I was told that this can give us a 20 to 30 years of promise that the infrastructure can now be protected if this maintenance is taken care of. We all know too well what happens if we really ignore this important and critical maintenance. So I think it is the best to our interest, rather sacrifice for 6 months, but we can at least have an assurance that for the next 20, 30 years, that infrastructure is safe and sound.
Yeah, I suppose so. So 6 months is what we're expecting, but and again, I keep emphasizing, if anything does go wrong, are there any contingency plans that have been put in place from the South African side if things are not in order, and if perhaps this does go on longer than 6 months?
I think the guarantee was, I tried to ask as difficult questions as possible as to, we have had the recent snows that ended up with extreme, unexpected water pouring in case there is an unexpected flood or anything. And the assurance was that all measures have been taken place. It would take a totally unexpected force of nature to disrupt the planned maintenance. Because he was saying he followed a similar procedure that took place, but that was in Cape Town. And it was a third of the distance or the surface that they're incurring. And that process took 6 months, and they're saying this is very hectic because close to 66 kilometers worth of tunnel will have to be maintained in the next 6 months. But they said they have put all plans, the best teams and best expertise, and as much intensive labor as possible. Over 300 people on the Lesotho side will be involved, and he said it's because they try to have all the contingency plans at play if anything could go wrong.
All right, let's leave it there. Rapelang, thank you. Thanks so much for that update. Well, that's news. You heard it. It's now officially that water has been done. It's been closed now for maintenance, and this is the closure of the Lesotho Highlands Water Project. We've been promised that there will be no interruptions and that it should be business as usual for 6 months. The minister is there, and this closed off at midnight. Our time, midnight. So that was our reporter updating us on that, Rapelang Radebe. We'll have more, of course, in our later bulletins. I know he has put together a piece to explain that better for us.